I don't understand you. I said, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, I'm not putting that thing together. It's just going to take too long.
Not everyone talks about that, right?
It's almost impossible to do it by yourself.
No one woke up successful.
What's the next best mousetrap you would create?
That's a good question.
Welcome to Rukus Disruptors. We've got Aaron and Bob on today from Armadillo Tough. Excited to have you guys here. We're going to share a little bit about your story, and let's jump right in. You guys are doing some really cool stuff in the garage improvement space. So tell me a little bit about Bob. What inspired you to start Armadillo Tough with Aaron?
Actually, it wasn't my inspiration. It was actually Aaron's inspiration. He could probably tell the story better because he's the one who actually came up with the idea and
all right, so you're going to toss this question to him? Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to push it over to him because it was really his inspiration.
Living in New York, I had this house. It was built in 1940, and the garage with the house basically only would fit in like a Model T Ford. It was really small. So we just use it for storage, and storage was all over the place. In 2014, I had this epiphany that I was going to move, and I kind of forced that idea on Bob. So I came down to Florida and I moved into a rental for the time being, but the rental had a 2-car garage, and I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. And I didn't want to have what I had in New York, which was just dysfunction. There was literally stuff everywhere. So I was going to go and buy myself some storage. I go into one of these big box warehouse places, and I see this nice cabinet up on the rack, and I'm looking at them going, that's a really nice cabinet. I'm like, I'm going to put that in my garage. And then I look down at the box and I'm like, well, somehow they managed to put that cabinet inside this really narrow box. And then I kind of looked for it online and I saw it. And one of the things I could see were the instructions. So I was like, this thing's got a lot of parts and it's heavy. And I started to go through this process of, okay, I'm buying this thing. I got to drag it home. I got to get it in my car. I'm going to get it home. I'm going to put it in my garage. And I know that box is going to sit there because I know how many parts there are to put together. And maybe 2 weeks into this process, my wife is going to come out to that garage and she's going to look at that box and she's going to be like, what's with the box in the garage? And I'm going to have to explain to her I bought it and it's a lot of parts and it's going to take me the better part of a day to put it together, and then we can use it for storage. And then I realized another 2 weeks we're going to go by, I'm going to look at that box and be like, yeah, I'm not putting that thing together. It's just going to take too long. So I'm going to have to drag that box back to the place I bought it and return it. So rather than buying it that day, I kind of left the store without it. And then the next day I came into the office, said to Bob, there's got to be a better solution to this.
Mm-hmm. And so that's when the light bulb went off.
Yeah, it was a light bulb moment. We were sitting in the store looking at this thing and going,
opportunity.
There's an opportunity here.
Okay, solution, right? So love that.
So Bob and I, like other ideas, we kind of pound them out together. And he's like, there's definitely got to be something. So we came up collectively with this idea of a cabinet that kind of was already welded, but it kind of folded down so that the customer, when they got it home, basically just had to unfold it.
Pop it open.
Yeah, just pop it open. And that's where the inspiration came from. That's where the aha moment came from. Little did we know that not only does it solve the issue of the customer having a much easier time putting the product together, but on the retail side of things, logistically, it costs less for us to ship our cabinets because they take up less space than a fully welded cabinet that's already pre-welded. And in the store itself, it also takes up less space. So it kind of achieved both purposes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
So you address the solution, and that's the key in business, right? Bob, tell me how you got involved. Obviously, you're a great friend. He talked you into relocating from New York to South Florida.
That's a whole other story.
Give me the short version of how did he convince you to relocate to South Florida? I mean, the weather's great here. We're in Miami. It's raining today, so it's a great day to record a podcast.
I don't know if you want to go into that story.
All right, give me the short version. But what a good friend that you are, because you relocated and you guys started a company together. How's that going?
Yeah, well, we had a company started before we moved to Florida.
Okay.
So we were invited to a major retailer's year beginning meeting kind of event for a week down in Orlando, Florida.
Okay.
I think it was 2013, somewhere around there.
And was that around the time you started Armadillo?
No, Armadillo came later. This is how we got down to Florida.
Okay.
So we decided that he was going to go for the first half of the meeting, and I was going to go for the second half of the meeting. So he goes down. It's the end of February time frame, so it's miserable in New York. So he goes down for the first half of the meeting and then comes back, and I said, what'd you learn? What'd you find out? And he goes, just go. You'll see. I'm like, what does that mean? You'll see. I'm like, I mean, they must have told us what direction they were heading, what changes were going to be made, what's going. Just go. Go for the second half of the meeting. We'll talk when you get back. That was kind of an odd response, but I'm like, okay, I'll go. So I go down for the second half. I leave on like a Wednesday or a Thursday, and I'm flying out of JFK, and it was a miserable day. It was raining, sleet, cold. I'm parked in long-term parking. I got to walk to the tram. It's just not a good day in New York. You want to be there weather-wise. So I get down to Florida, and we get to the airport. I get to the airport, and I walk outside to get my rental car, and the doors open up, and there's blue sky, beautiful weather, warm air. And I looked, and I said, what the heck are we doing,
in New York?
So I literally, before I even got the rental car, I dialed him, and I'm like, hey, what are we doing in New York? And he goes, that's exactly what I was hoping you were going to say. He goes, I worked for 3 days after the meetings at the poolside. He goes, and I had the same epiphany. He says, do you want to move? And I said, I would love to move. But I wasn't, it was rhetorical. It wasn't like a real answer, He's like, yeah, me too. So I hang up the phone. I go to the second half of the meeting, and I come back, and it was a Saturday. I guess I got back. Monday I walk into work, and he says, yeah, I put my house up for sale. I'm moving. I said, what are you kidding me? I said, I never gave you a real, you said you wanted to move, he said. I said, but it wasn't a real answer. I didn't talk to my wife. I didn't talk to my kids, He's like, well, I'm leaving. And that's it. He put a for sale sign in his house and sold his house. And he went down, and for a little while, because my kids were in high school and all that, we kind of worked in 2 locations for about a year and a half.
Okay.
And then finally, I convinced my wife to go down, who gave me a hard time because her family's all up there, and we have friends up there. But after coming down to Florida for so many weeks, or months coming down here and looking around, she kind of loved it, and now she'll never go back. So we moved. He moved in 2014, 15? 14, and I moved down in 2016. So
awesome. And where did the idea, or when did the idea for Armadillo come into?
Exactly. He moved to Florida. We had this business going. It wasn't Armadillo Tough. It was another business.
Same space, or?
Yeah, we were in the same office, and we were designing product. And
okay.
People, when you have your own business, and especially when you design custom products, everybody that comes out of the woodworks, right? Friends, family, you name it. And like, hey, I got an idea. Can we make this? Hey, I got an idea. Can we do this? I mean, it's incredible. People that you haven't heard from in years call you, And I always used to go on the internet and be like, okay, this guy's got an idea for a swivel chair that you go to the beach and you can follow the sun around, And I go on for a swivel sun chair, and there it is. It's always something that, there's never unique ideas, right? There's always ideas, and there's something out there that's already made. So one Monday I come into work, and he says, hey, I got this idea. And Aaron always has a ton of ideas, right? So he said, what do you think about, can we make a garage cabinet that can close, that can fold or open, or minimal pieces, something that is easy to put together? I said, it sounds like a good idea, but it must be out there, right? So I go to my office, and I'm checking the internet for collapsible, foldable, and like Aaron said, there's either, RTA, ready to assemble, which is hundreds of parts you got to put together, or fully welded.
Okay.
Comes complete. You got to put it in your space, and one costs a phenomenal amount of money, and one's very cheap, very inexpensive usually, but takes forever to put together. And there was nothing in that middle ground. So I said, oh, maybe he's got something here, So we started working on it. We started working on it as a side project.
Okay.
And the more we took it, the further we took it, the more samples we got, and we saw the way it worked and the improvements we were making. We were like, there really is something here. This is a good product. It's got a good place in the marketplace. It's got a good fit, and we did. We just kept developing it, working on it, and then when COVID hit, we kind of made it our full-time business, because people were spending a lot of money improving garages in their homes, and we were like, this is the time to really take it to market.
That's awesome. Where do you find most of your customers are? Are they in Florida in the warmer markets, or is it nationwide?
No, it's nationwide. It's
Okay.
anybody who has space in their garage that wants to improve that space. That's our customer.
Yeah, yeah, we get orders from all over the place.
So you emphasize fast assembly. You know, I've seen the product. I've seen you guys put it together. We've shot content in your garages and other customers, and we've had a lot of UGC around your product, being that it's just amazing. And I think that's one of the biggest things about your product, that it just assembles in minutes and it's hassle-free, it's stress-free. You know, we were talking about marketing campaigns. You sent over a bunch of content, and you know, it's not like an IKEA product where you go there and you're just frustrated, right? So I've been dragged to IKEA like every other man has several times, and then brought home to put together cabinets and furniture and things like that. And it takes, you know, sometimes hours, days, like what you said, is that, you know, your wife's gonna be like, hey, what's this box sitting in the garage for?
Most of the time, you don't even have the room on the floor to lay out all the pieces, you know, in order, and so you know what you're grabbing. And
I think that's really been the intriguing thing for me about your product, is the fast assembly, how it just pops up, and then the sturdiness of it, right? It's literally a like steel. I mean,
Yeah.
it's heavy duty stuff.
yeah, it's funny because you see a lot of the reviews online.
Which let me say this, are great, by the way. You never see that in e-com. I mean, you see 1 out of 5, right, that are, you know, usually good, and then you cringe when a review comes in. But with your product, you know, the reviews are just literally stacking up.
Not just a product, right? All the way to from the front end, from ordering, all the way to the back end on customer service and delivery. But on the product reviews themselves, it's funny because people look at the product and they see the way it opens up and folds, and they think it's like, okay, you know, I've seen all the good reviews. A lot of them say that. I saw the reviews, and that's what got me to buy it, but I couldn't believe it was going to be as easy as it was. And if it was that easy, I can't believe it's going to be as good as they say. And then you get that review, and the guy's like, it is as easy as they say, and it is as good as they say.
It is. And I had a question I wanted to ask you is what do you think customers appreciate most about your product? But I think you nailed it. I mean, it's simple.
It's the whole experience. It's from ordering, getting the product on time, and communicating when that product is going to get there, and putting it together simple, and you know, the quality of the product and the use of the product, the functionality, and all any back end support we need to give. But yeah, it's the whole experience. But the thing I'm most surprised about is definitely the creativeness of how easy it unfolds and goes together. And then how good it is, you know, how the quality, the sturdiness.
It really is. It's heavy duty. So, and Aaron's on the front lines. You're taking care of all customer service issues, right? And Bob, you're on production. Majority of your time is spent on manufacturing. You guys do that together?
Yeah, we share. He does most of the customer service for sure.
Okay.
Him and somebody else in the office. But a lot of the other functions we kind of overlap. You know, when we started the business, Aaron said to me when we became partners, he's had partners before. And he said, the one thing I'm going to ask of you, he says that you have to know everything I know. He goes, because if I want to go away, if I want to go on vacation, or I want to do something, or take a day off, he goes, I want to know there's somebody in the office that can answer the questions, that can answer the emails, that can talk to the customers. He goes, and I can have a little bit of alone time. I've never had that before. I was always working on vacation, weekends. He goes, it was always me. Mm-hmm. And he goes, so I want that. So when, you know,
Not that I take vacation.
No, not that he does. But that's and we kind of got into that habit of really working closely together. So we know what each other's doing in the office, and we can jump in when the other one needs help, and we design product together. I mean, his background's accounting, and he's an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. But Aaron's got an amazing mechanical sense. I mean, he can look at stuff and say, hey, why didn't we do that? And I mean, it just happened not that long ago. I was overseas working with the factory, and we came up with a part, and we, you know, how it worked and functioned, and we got the sample in the office, and Aaron's like, why didn't we just do this? I was like, why didn't we think of that, you know? And it was a simple little change. And I wrote the factory, and the guy goes, you got 2 engineers working on it, and the guy who's the accounting comes up with the simple idea to make it really simple, you know? So yeah, he's great to work with, and we definitely bond well and work well.
So, Aaron, what do you think makes a successful partnership? Because you guys do appear to have a great partnership. You work very well together. We've been working together for some time.
Trust is a big factor in partnerships. So being able to trust the other person is key. Communication is another very big key to it. It's like a marriage, right? If you don't talk to one another, regardless of how good you think it is, it's not really good. So even when there's things that bother each other, you just talk about it. I mean, we've been together probably longer than most marriages.
Yeah.
And honestly, I tell people that I've had the same partner since 2007, and they're like, 2007, like, you're lucky.
That's true. I mean, what a great story, and a great product came out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I should hate him for bringing me back into the ownership side of things because.
Oh no, that one is on you. That's not on me.
It's a lot more grueling than always working for someone else, but the reward is so much greater. Your successes may not be as great as someone working for another entity, but your self-accomplishment, the things that you've been able to achieve and work through, and the problems that you face every day are yours. And being able to do that with someone that you could trust, that you can communicate with, that has your back, is really, really something that's unique. It takes time. It takes effort.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we met at a company that we were working with together. He was in sales, I was in manufacturing engineering, and
which I can't imagine him in sales.
He's very good. He's sincere and he's honest, and that's when I've never went on sales calls, right? And when we went on our first sales call, I said, "Can you give me some pointers?" He said, and those were the two things he said to me. He said, "Be sincere and be honest." He says, "Believe in what you're saying." He says, "Don't lie." He says, if you think it's a, can I say crap? If you think
you say whatever you want.
If you think it's a piece of crap, tell him it's a piece of crap, and that's the way he is, and people respond to that.
Most people are afraid because they're worried about what the reaction is going to be. And my father once told me, he goes, you can tell someone to go F off and they could be mad at you. You can also tell someone to go F off and they'll sit there and laugh with you. So it's really having the ability to read a room, know how to present something, but if you're always transparent. I mean, I've been in meetings with major retailers and they've shown me packaging and they ask me what I think.
I remember that one.
And I told them I thought it sucked. I mean, they asked me my opinion. I mean, it's no different than I went to a restaurant and someone came out and asked me what I thought of the food. And I was like, it's okay. And people don't always want to hear the truth, but it is the truth. It's your truth. They don't have to agree with you. They can think their stuff's great, but if someone's going to ask you your opinion, then just tell them what your opinion is.
Yeah, he's sincere about it.
That goes a long way, too, I think, especially with consumers as well as customer service, right? When you're on the front lines, you're dealing with customers and you're straightforward with them. You don't beat around the bush. You don't BS them. They appreciate it.
We're customers. I'm a customer. You're a customer.
100%.
Bob's a customer. I want someone to treat me
the way you want to be treated.
I mean, it's the story of life, right?
Yep.
Someone calls up to have a problem. They didn't expect to have the problem. If it was on me, if it was something that I did that caused the problem, obviously I'm going to take care of it right away. But even if they caused the problem, they're looking for a solution, right?
Absolutely.
And there's a benefit to giving them the solution in the long term. You may see the cost as a short-term problem for you, but if you look at that cost as a long-term solution for you, cost of acquisition for a customer is expensive. So once you have that customer, taking care of that customer is a lot cheaper than go and try and find another customer. So that's kind of my philosophy. It's like, if I was that guy on the other side, how would I want to be? Now, I'm not saying there aren't outrageous things, but for the most part, you just want someone to treat you the way you want to be treated. And we do that for everybody. We even do that for people who call our company that we didn't even sell that product.
We get a lot of those.
So we try to treat everybody the way we want to be treated, and I think that reflects in our Google reviews. I guess people use that as a barometer to see whether or not, that's growing for us. But all of them are 5-star, and getting those 5 stars means a lot to me personally, to the company as a whole, and it's reflective of everything that we do, from designing a product to make it easy for someone to helping them on the back end when there's an issue.
That's good. Talking a little bit more about designing product, what role do customers play in giving you guys feedback around the design? Did you guys, when you first created the product line, did you get a lot of feedback from customers to develop further and new products?
Well, people are always asking us to do additional products, but again, it's everybody has the next great idea, you know, and when you're growing your business, you need to focus on the core products that you have, and at some point you can go and examine other products that you may want to do. But yeah, I mean, people definitely give us input into direction. You know, we talk to people who've been in the industry longer than we have, and we take that feedback, and we utilize that feedback when we make our decisions about what product next to roll out.
Okay.
But when we were designing the product initially, there was no customers, right? It was just us.
Okay.
So we are our own customers, right? Him and I own houses and garages, and you know, we kind of did it on our own. But after the product came out and it got out into the field, we wanted that customer feedback because we wanted to know where maybe a failure point was, or something that could be easily improved at relatively low cost, that we could make the product even better. So we were constantly asking for customer feedback, you know, and we take it seriously. Yeah, when a customer tells us this could be improved, or you know, hey, I had a problem with this, we look at it and say, why did he have that problem? You know, how did it come about, and what can we do to change it or make sure that doesn't happen again? So during the design of the product, no, it was kind of him and I. But as we're going along, yeah, customer feedback means a lot.
It does. Tell me a little bit about your first big breakthrough moment with the company when you realized you had something that potentially was going to be a success with Armadillo.
Yeah, it was at the show. You can
Yeah,
talk about
so
that.
we attended our first hardware show back in 2017. And we really just, again, Armadillo was just a brand of another company at the time, and we were kind of doing it as a project. You know, it was like, okay, we're going to throw this at the wall and see if it sticks. So the only way to do that is to bring it to some place where, you know, the buyers are, the retailers. So we did a hardware show, and the response to the product was just phenomenal. We were talking to people independently because it was so busy in the booth, but eventually we would recap and be like, XYZ just walked in and they were like, oh my God, they need this product. So, but Bob and I looked at each other and were like, well, we have a problem here because we have a really good product, but we were kind of nervous about where we were getting the product from, but that was the aha moment. That's when, you know, your idea gets validation. You know, when that buyer, that person who makes decisions for a much larger audience comes to you and says, this is something we want. That was the aha moment.
Yeah, that first show we had a little 10 by 10 booth, and there were major companies there, people that had, you know, huge booths and displays, and I don't want to name names, but I mean major
competitors now, I would assume, right?
And we were the busiest booth, our little 10 by 10 booth, and our competitors were coming over taking pictures, and we were trying to shoo them away, you know, and that's when we realized, we were like, and people were saying when they saw how easy it went together, they were like, wow, this is impressive. And we were there for 3 days, and after the show, we were like, wow, we have something here. We got some really good response.
Tell me a little bit about distribution. Where are you guys selling the product at now? Where can people find this product? I know you mentioned that you've had several larger meetings with distributors and you're traveling to meet new distributors, and share with us a little bit about where people can find this.
www.armadillotough.com.
Love it. All right.
Go ahead, Aaron.
So yes, obviously we have our direct-to-consumer approach, which you know we love more than any approach because we get to engage with the customer.
Okay.
You know, and for you, every time a customer places an order, it's that validation. You get that direct feedback.
So direct-to-consumer philosophy is Armadillo Tough's number one priority
paramount
right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
But saying that, we do have relationships with retailers. So we come out of that world of wholesale, traditional wholesale. And a lot of what happens in wholesale is you sell a product in, but you don't get to see the fruits of your labor for such a long period of time. So yes, it's a part of our business still, but again, that direct-to-consumer is what we're thriving on, and we hope to grow. So right now we do partner with like Summit Racing in the automotive industry. So if you go to summitracing.com, you'll find our product. We do one of our cabinets with Costco, but we hope to expand it in some way with them at some point. And then we have some third-party e-commerce sellers that are also selling our product, and we have a distributor on the West Coast who sells our product to some retail. But yeah, our hope and our focus is building that direct-to-consumer relationship, because we want to know the people that buy our product, and we want them as part of the family, and we want to help them grow their assortment, and we want to be there if there's a problem. We don't want them to have to go somewhere else.
Like it. So building a brand is hard, right? You know, we've talked about a lot of success that you guys have had today. Let's talk about challenges real quick. What keeps you guys motivated when you're going through the challenging times? You know, the sales are not coming in, bank accounts low, you're building a brand. You know, this is an expensive business you're in. E-com is very, very costly to do business. You're manufacturing product overseas. I'm sure you guys have experienced tariffs with bringing the product in. Yeah. You know, we don't want to pass those, you know, those fees on to consumers. What's keeping you motivated when you're out there building a brand like Armadillo in the marketplace?
It's just you know, a passion for what we've done and what we've created, and those challenging times are every day. I mean, we come to work every day, and there's some fire to put out, there's some issue to resolve. It's hard. I mean, you talked about when we started the partnership. I was always working for other companies before we started our business together. I was always an engineer or in manufacturing, or ultimately I got up into supply chain management, but I was always working for somebody else. Aaron was an entrepreneur. He owned several businesses on his own with other partners, and he sold them, built them, sold them. And so we happened to run into each other at the same company. And like I said, he was in sales and I was in manufacturing engineering. And we got close to each other. We have a good, you know, our personalities are a lot alike. We have the same sense of humor, and we work together closely. So we kind of got close. And one day we were out to lunch, and I said to him, "Would you ever want to open your own business again?" He said, "I would love to." So we decided to go into business together. So not too long after we did, a few months after we did, I said to him, "I don't understand you." I said, "There's something wrong with you." And he says, "What do you mean?" I said, "I didn't know any better when we started our business. I didn't know all these issues we were going to have." I go, "But you did." I go, "Because you've built several businesses." I said, "Why would you ever want to do this again?" I said, "There's something wrong with you."
He didn't warn you, in other words.
He didn't warn me at all.
But he knew.
But, you know, building the business, that's the fun part, too. He said that. He goes, "This is the fun part, believe it or not." You know?
And I think not everyone talks about that, right? So it's funny that you guys are, you know, we're talking through the challenges, partnership challenges. We've all had them with businesses, but it's cool to see you guys are working through things so efficiently. But, you know, there is a lot of challenges, and I also don't want to paint it as a rosy-colored picture, right?
It's far from rosy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean,
owning your own business is no joke, right?
It's about as far from rosy as you can get.
Okay.
But that's also part of the fun.
Yeah, it's rewarding at the end of the day, right?
And it becomes a part of your life. I had, you know, another person who owned a business was telling me, it's just, you know, you want to go to your daughter, your daughter's 5 years old, and you want to go to her recital at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Go.
That's true.
But you're also going to be working at 12 o'clock at night one night, and you're going to be away for 2.5, 3 weeks at a time overseas, you know? So it's not like, you know, when you're working for somebody else, you have business hours and you have personal hours. It's not like that when you own a business. It's just part of your life, you know? Mm-hmm. And it's not something easily absorbed, easy to do. Mm-hmm. It's something you have to, there's some people that just can't do it. You know, and there's some people that have tried and can't do it, but and it affects your family too. You know, my wife is very understanding. She's got that.
It's great to have that support.
Yeah, she's got that same mentality of, you know, working all different hours, and she has a famous saying, you know, work hard, play hard.
That's right.
You know, and that's what we do. You know, and it's a passion, and it's something we built like a family. You know, and you just work at it. You just don't walk away from it.
Speaking of walking away, what do you think separates founders who succeed versus those who quit? Because you guys are succeeding. You're very, very driven. You're very passionate about your product, and you're waking up every day. You're putting one foot in front of the other, but not everyone has that level of commitment. What do you think that is that you guys got?
Pain threshold.
The ability to withstand pain.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's your pain. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's going to come up. You have to understand it's not personal. It's just business. And what might seem difficult today, once it passes, you'll look back on, you'll have that experience, and you realize it wasn't that bad. And then when you finally hit that pinnacle, when you reach it, when you've tasted a little bit of success, it's the best feeling in the world, because you're doing it for yourself. You're not doing it for anybody but yourself. And all those little stepping stones that you had to, walk on to get where you are, that's the reward. The challenge every day of getting up and going and grinding it out to build something that someone else can look at and go, hey, wow, that was really easy. They don't know, right? They think it was easy. Everybody thinks all these big companies were just manifested and someone woke up in the morning and they were there.
Right.
It's just never the case, right? I don't care what
blood,
industry.
sweat, tears.
I don't care who you are. I don't care if it's tech. I don't care if it's cutting boards. I don't care what that is. No one woke up successful. Everybody went through the grind. How much of the grind? No one knows, but everybody went through some grind.
I think a big part of it is being able to compartmentalize, which I was not able to do when I first started this business.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah, I was up at night. I was, stressing, and not just this business, the business we had before too. But I remember one time we went through a bad stretch, a little point where we were, almost out of business, and we were coming back from somewhere, and I was all stressed out, and we're in the car, and he goes, can we stop to get something to eat? There's this place over here I haven't been to in a while. And okay, so we pull over, we're getting something to eat, and he orders, and he's like, hey, pass the mustard and do this and that. And I look at him, I'm like, how can you eat right now? I'm like, my stomach is in knots about what just happened. How can you? He's like, dude, you got to learn how to compartmentalize. He goes, that's over here. He goes, now I'm here. He goes, I'm hungry. I want to eat. He goes, I'll think about that another time.
So stress never killed Aaron's appetite.
No, definitely not.
Can't you tell?
But I learned that from watching him do it, and it's not easy to do. It's not easy something to pick up to develop, but you have to have that. Otherwise, it's gonna kill you.
That's good advice. That's very well received. Getting into new product, new brand, talking about doing something new. If someone were to give you $100,000 today, what would you do first? New product development can't be Armadillo.
What we're doing?
No.
Well, that's a good question.
I mean, because you guys are creators, you're definitely innovators. What's the next best mousetrap you would create? 100 grand.
Well, first of all, we need more than 100 grand.
I'm not sure I think that takes you very far.
That's a great point, right?
Yeah.
So that'll just get you, won't even get you out of the starting gates.
How much it costs to start a business or an
Okay, so we probably need to round that up to times 10, closer to $1 million.
I don't even know if $1 million gets you started today. That's a really good question. It would take me more than a podcast probably to answer that question. I don't
All right.
think
There's so many things we want to do with we want to build different,
You said not an armadillo, though.
Oh, not.
Well, no, we're going to talk about that next. But
You said outside of armadillo.
So $1 million, you're going to come back to that.
Yeah, we're going to have to think on that. We might do that in a different podcast.
Okay, that's good. I like that. Tell me, what's the future of Armadillo look like? What are you guys developing? And where is this going in 2026 into 27, 28? Right now we're in approaching Q2. Yeah. So time flies, right? It's March and we're shooting this podcast. It's going to come out in April. So excited to launch this and share your story. But tell me, what's the future look like for Armadillo? Next product on the.
So the beauty of Armadillo is that it has core products, but because those core products interconnect with each other, they're modular, they can come together. We create so many products from a core of 8.
Okay.
So we can add one product and create another 1,000 products from just that one edition. So, I mean, where we want to go, there's a couple of cabinets we're working on today that we're not going to tell anybody yet because they're not far enough up in development. But there's the wall organization category that we kind of want to incorporate because it makes sense. It feeds off of where we are. We're already in shelving, so there's things in shelving that we want to do that will incorporate with what we're doing. So within that garage space, we're probably going to come out with other elements that kind of just enhance the whole organization story.
So a couple of new products this year potentially could be available.
Yeah, we're hoping. They're in development right now.
Yeah, we have, I think, 1 or 2 new base cabinets on their way in now.
Oh, wow. Well, and how long does it take to develop something like that from scratch?
Depends on your partners.
Okay.
And it depends on how big the change is. The base cabinet would come, the 2 that are coming in now are just an offshoot of a couple of others. So the structure was there, the framework was there. It's just changing some configuration. So it wasn't too bad. But if we're going to change, developing a whole garage wall system and being unique about it, making it again easy to put together and easy to do, it's going to take some time.
Okay.
So
3 months, 6 months?
Oh, it would, yeah. I mean,
at least.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got to go through the sampling process and
testing,
working out through the bugs and the testing, and it
could take a year.
It could take a year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yep, not easy.
Okay, so couple more questions for you. Advice to your younger self, Aaron. I'm going to start with you, Bob. You can answer that next.
Advice to my younger self.
I can answer mine now.
One piece of advice before starting Armadillo. What would it be?
Just Apple, Google, NVIDIA.
Invest. Okay.
Buy all those stocks and hold on to them.
You didn't know what you didn't know.
That's good. That's good. That's a great point. I like that.
You only know that now, though.
Well, advice to my younger self.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good advice.
Yeah. Well, then I would have used the lottery numbers that I know now.
Absolutely. I would say don't change a thing.
Oh wow, that's admirable.
Yeah, no regrets. I mean, you're going to do things in life, and you're gonna look back and be like, if I turned left instead of right, maybe my path would be different. But you are where you're supposed to be. I mean, everybody is where they're supposed to be. You may think you're supposed to be somewhere else, but ultimately you are where you are, and you have to look at the things in your life that you have and be thankful for.
Even the stupid things you've done.
Yeah.
Right? You know they're stupid now because you did them already. You learned. So that's what I'm trying to say. Even the things you did wrong or you wish you could change still has an impact on where you are now and the person you are now. So yeah, for me, I wouldn't change a thing.
No regrets. Okay.
No, don't beat yourself up, right?
It's good. It's good insight. Okay, good. And you're a spiritual guy. We talk a lot of not a lot, but we talk a little bit about religion, and sometimes our. Tell me how that's affected your life spiritually, with your success in business.
So there's this expression. It's not expression. It's a word. It's betachon, and it's about faith. It's about just having this ultimate faith that things are going to happen the way they're supposed to happen. We have this belief in Judaism that you can work really hard, right? You're going to put effort into something, but the outcome is almost ordained for you. So you're supposed to do the work. You just can't sit there and think that things are going to come to you. But if you do the work, then whatever's meant to be is going to happen. Okay. And whatever you have is going to happen. Not that you can't want more, Adam. You can always want more. But you have to be okay with where you are too. So
I like that.
Yeah, reflecting.
That's good insight.
Yeah, again, it goes back to being thankful for what you have. Like you wake up in the morning and your house is 2,000 square feet. It's not 5,000 square feet. There's nothing wrong with wanting a house that's 5,000 square feet. But appreciating that you have a house that's 2,000 square feet
You're right.
is hard to do. Wishing I woke up and I had the money that Warren Buffett had, that's yeah, you could do that, but being thankful that you have money in your account.
Or that you woke up today.
Those are things that you're thankful for. And there are times where, I'm not perfect, right? I look and say, well, if only. But then I turn around and I'm like, well, but I got a lot more than somebody else has. So being in that moment, being present, being and acknowledge that your life is filled with blessings and that things are going to work out, and that's what it's about. Yeah.
It's good insight.
Yeah, it took a while to get here, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I have a lot of respect for you and what you guys have done. Anything you'd like to add, Bob?
No.
On that front? Okay.
No, on the religious front.
Business. I always ask people what's their
religious front's a whole different podcast for Paul.
I got so close to his family, they did give me a Hebrew name.
Okay,
I'm not very religious, but I was.
He didn't want to do the circumcision, though.
Yeah.
He bailed at circumcision.
Okay, so I get it. I understand that. So moving forward, last question. What advice do you guys have for someone wanting to start their business? I'll let you start, Bob, on this.
Find help.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good help, right? Right.
Not somebody who's going to work for you, but somebody who's going to work with you and somebody that has the resources to help you along the way. You can't. It's almost impossible to do it by yourself.
It is.
Yeah.
You're right.
You need help.
And that's
you will need help.
That's where you feel the partnership's been a success.
And you need I have a great partner, so yeah, but even if you're going to go out on your own, it's very difficult to succeed without somebody else. So, if you don't have that going in, find it. Find those people that are going to help you get to where you're going to get to.
Very, very good advice. And how about you, Aaron? What are your thoughts on someone wanting to get started in a new business?
Don't be afraid of failure.
Okay.
Yeah, don't be afraid of what you don't know, and don't be afraid to make mistakes, because that's how you grow. And if you're already worried about those things, you better not go into business for yourself.
That's good. I like that. So these guys are dropping some great nuggets of wisdom today. Great conversation, guys. Thanks for joining us on this podcast of Rukus Disruptors. Really appreciate the story behind what you guys have done, what you guys have accomplished. For everyone watching or listening, make sure you follow them at Armadillo Tough on all social media channels, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Check out their Shopify store. Great things to come with this brand. We normally don't endorse brands, but I feel extremely confident in everything that they're doing and standing behind their products. So big things to come. Assembles in minutes, last a lifetime. Much success to you guys, and we'll continue to support you guys from behind the scenes.
Appreciate it.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right. Good stuff, guys.